everyone, welcome to Vlogmas Day 9. I'm really excited because in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I am currently using my iPad to set up digital notebooks and journals for myself. So the one thing about transitioning from like a paper notebook to a notebook on an iPad, with a paper notebook, you can just like flip ahead multiple pages. You can bookmark where you are so you can jump to that section, but you can't really do that in a digital planner. Like you have to flip page by page by page. So a really common thing is to create journals that have hyperlinks, and that's where with the click of a certain section of your screen, it'll jump you to a different section. That's what they call hyperlinking. And I really want to show you guys how I'm setting that up with my iPad. And the reason I want to show this to you guys is because it's actually super easy and you can set these up yourself as well. So I thought I'd show you guys everything I'm using, a couple tools that I have bought to help make this easier so you guys can make your own digital notepads. Let's jump right in. So the first thing I want to talk about is the tools I'm using. So obviously I'm using Goodnotes 5. It is a one-time fee for Goodnotes 5. I think I paid $10. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, so Goodnotes 5. Keynote, which comes free with your iPad. That's what this is Keynote. And then Procreate. And Procreate was also a $10 one-time fee. So in regards to the tools I'm using Procreate to create my page layouts. Okay, so on this one I have created my monthly page. And if we look at my layers, what I have here is the first layer. I've created this dot grid notebook. I'm hoping you guys can see that, or this dot grid texture. And I'm doing that because I find it easy to write following the dot grid. So that's what layer 1 is. Layer 2, I'm actually going to delete because I did something different. Okay, so layer 7 is what it's called, but that is the calendar. And I'll show you guys how I did this because I didn't hand draw this. These layouts took me 10 minutes to make. So we've got my calendar. Then I just have my text layers. And again, I'll show you how to do this. It's super easy. And then we can just delete these because we're not even using them. So yeah, it's actually super easy to create these pages, and I'm going to show you exactly how I'm doing this. So all we do, I'll just create a new artwork that's screen size. And then again, I like to add the dot grid just because I find it easiest to write with. So then I have a dot grid texture brush. I'm going to share this with you guys for free. It's one I made myself, but I don't mind sharing it. So I use my dot grid texture, and then I basically just go in. If I'm happy with the size and the spacing, then I'll leave it. If not, you can adjust the sizing here so it would make it much smaller. So then with this, it's a texture brush, so you want to basically just go over the whole page without lifting your pencil. And I do this in like a really dark color just so I can see and make sure that it all got applied to the page correctly. And then once it's done, I bump down the brightness because I don't actually want to write with it being this bright. This is super bright. So then I will bump down the brightness usually to about 80 to 90%, just depending on what I like. And it just makes it a little less obvious. Then to create the actual layouts themselves, I purchased a planner stamp bundle kit from Etsy. I'll have it linked in the video, in the description below the video. But basically it's all these stamps that allow me to build pages really, really easily. So let me find, we're gonna create like that monthly layout one that I did just to show you guys how to do this. All right, so it was under the planner stamps kit, and it's monthly number 5. So then what you do is you wanna make sure you're on a different layer. Just that way you can make changes, like if you want to erase what you put on, you're not affecting your dot grid texture. So to add a layer, you just hit that plus icon. So then you can just literally tap your pencil once onto the screen. Now to resize this, you can either click the resize button up here and then just resize it accordingly, or you can adjust your brush size before you stamp it on. So now it's super tiny. Go a little bigger. And so yeah, you can play around with your sizing to get it the way you want it. So then there's also this nice feature where it snaps it to the middle for you, or shows the middle of the screen, so you know you're kind of getting it in that area. So I'm going to make this a little bit bigger just because I'm not putting anything else on the sides, so I kind of want that to be a bit bigger. So then once that's done, I add another layer. because again, I like to keep everything on separate layers and then I collapse them all at the end. This is just so I can make any edits or changes without affecting other elements of my layout. So then we're gonna go to this little like wrench icon, and then there's this button here for add, and here you can add text. So then using the keyboard, you can type in, so like for mine, it was schedule. You can put in whatever you want here. And then to move it, you just click on that arrow and then you can move this onto the screen wherever you like. Now to change the sizing or the type of font it is, you just double click to highlight it all and then you can change it to whatever font you want. So this one's kind of a nice one. I kind of like this chalkboard style one as well. I have some like of my own fonts that I've gotten as well, so like some of these might not be in yours, but I'll just pick one. And then you can adjust the sizing, you can adjust the like how bold it is, regular. There's like tons of stuff you can adjust, like the where it aligns, underline it, and all kinds of different things. So I'm going to make this, what does 70 look like? 70 is a good size. So I'm going to make it size 70. And then again, I'm just going to, I adjusted the size by doing that. So I'll click back in here. Yeah, I made it 72.9. So just be careful not to do that. Like when you're moving it, that you're not resizing it by accident. Okay, so then one thing you'll notice is that any added text comes on as a separate layer. That's totally fine. So there's nothing on layer 3, but I'll just kind of leave that as a buffer in case I need it. So then just back up to the schedule and then we click add text again. Okay, and then that's pretty much it. It's a pretty plain layout, but that's okay. You can decorate these however you want. I'm good with mine being pretty basic because it's just for a notebook. So then once you're happy with how this looks, all you have to do is export this as a PNG file, and then you're going to save your image. So now the only thing to be careful of is make sure you're sharing the image, not the layers. I made that mistake once and I was like, where's the rest of my stuff? I just share it. Make sure you share the full image. So then with your layers, you can leave them as is, and sometimes I'll do this just in case I need to make any changes. But if you are happy with how they are and you do want to condense it down so you can basically hide that layer and make a new layout on top of this, you just pinch all the layers together. The only one I leave separate is the dot grid notebook, just in case I want to add another layout on top of it. It doesn't affect the dot grid. So now when I do that, it's the full layer, but leaves my dot grid intact. And then I put that back and it's there. The nice thing is once everything is in one layer, you can move it as one item. So then if you're just not quite happy, if you want to adjust the sizing, or you can move it around on the page. This is good if you just need to make like a slight adjustment to where everything is located. Once you get it into Keynote, you might realize it doesn't totally work. So that's literally all you do to create these layouts. And again, I will have all these brushes linked below, but all these things make it so fast and easy to create these layouts. It takes me no time at all. Again, I created all the layouts for my SEO notebook in like 10 minutes. So super nice. So then once you have your layouts created, then you can go ahead and start making your file in Keynote. And again, this is pretty easy to do. So we're just gonna click in Keynote. I've got a couple going here, but you can ignore those. You're just gonna hit the plus icon and choose a theme, and you can literally choose any theme you want because we're going to be deleting it anyways. So then we need to go to the settings, the document setup. So under the dot, the three dots at the top, document setup, and then we need to go slide size, and we want to change this to 3x4 so that the orientation is this way. Just like that, and then we click done, and then we can delete all this stuff from here because we don't need it. All right, so the first thing is to change this background. Now you don't have to, it's just something I like to do. So you can go to this little paintbrush and style and background, and you can either choose an image. to use. So like you could use like a wood background or like a marble background or something. I also have I have this like snowy one that's on my thing. So then the nice thing I like to do is just click the scale to fit, and it'll basically scale the image to fit wherever. You can also do a color if you prefer, which can be nice as well, but I'm just going to leave this as the image for this demonstration. Then we want to create like a base for the notebook, and again, like I don't go super fancy with these, but so I just add a shape, and I like for my cover to have the one with the rounded, and then I'll basically just go and make it kind of the size I want. And then it depends on, like, there's no right or wrong way. You can leave more of your background showing, less of your background showing. It's totally however you want it. And then you can click style to change the color. So I kind of want mine to be a little bit softer than this because this is pretty dark. Okay, I kind of like this actually like gray blue. So then now we have our background, and this is going to basically be like as if when you have a notebook open and you're sitting on the page, you can kind of see this blue background around it. That's kind of what it's supposed to emulate. Again, not perfect, and you don't have to do that. It's totally up to you. So then we want to create another page or another shape because we want to create our page. So then with this, I will go pretty similar to whatever shape I have. Oh, what happened there? I'll go pretty similar to whatever shape I have, and then I just center it. I don't like to go straight to the edges, especially on one like this where I'm going to be adding tabs to the side. And then for style, I like to make this just flat, plain white. Another thing you can do is you can add a shadow to these layers. So like here you can see this one kind of has a shadow all the way around. I think, yes, it's this one where it just has the shadow underneath. So you can kind of play around to see which style you like best. Yeah, this one kind of makes it look like the whole thing's kind of coming up this way. Actually, I don't mind that one. Maybe that's the one I like. Yeah, so now you can see it kind of looks like there is a shadow on that side. And then sometimes if you want it to have like a multiple page layer look, you can copy it and then click and hold and paste it. And then what I do for this is I get it lined up again perfectly, and then I just bring it in ever so slightly from the other one. So again, now you can kind of see that shadow. Like that. Okay, so those are the pages. And then I like to add coils. So again, this is something I bought off of Etsy just to make my life easier, but we're going to insert because I have the I have the coils on my iPad. So we'll use silver for this, and then because this one I'm just doing like a one-sided, like this one came with multiple as if you're having like 2 pages, I'm just doing one-sided, so I'm going to choose this one, and then I'm just going to line it up. And again, I will have links to all of this stuff in the description below as well. The whole point in this is to show you how easy this is to actually do. So once you're happy with where that is, you can leave that there. And then the only other thing I need to do is add the tabs. Now this is definitely the most time consuming part, but once it's done, it's really easy. So then we just need to add another shape. And again, I like to use the rounded, and then we just need to resize these so that they're kind of tab size. And then for the demonstration purposes of the demonstration, I'm just going to include the ones down the side, but you can add them all over the place if you want to technically. So then again, to change the style, you just click that paintbrush and then you can change your color. So since I have like this blue background, it might be kind of nice to do like a darker blue. Yeah, that looks good. So then all you have to do is just like copy and paste these. Now, because I'm doing January to if you're doing January to December, then you'll need 12 tabs, and I'll show you how to make that work. But for now, all you want to do is just click it to highlight it, and when this toolbar comes up, just click copy, and then hold down on the page. If you find that you're clicking on these pages too much, you can go to Style, and then you can lock them on the Arrange tab, and then this is just so that when you click them, they can't go anywhere and mess you up. So then just click and hold, and then paste, and then move it into place. And again, same thing with these. You can add shadows to them if you want, which is really nice. I think that's the one I do. Yeah, so let me add that. Okay, so then let's so now that I have two there, what I'll actually do is select one, and then you just hold your finger on the screen to select another one. Oh, there we go. And then you can copy and paste both at the same time. So, and then the next time you can add, oh, assuming I do it right. There we go. And then you can copy and paste all four of them for the next one. So now one thing is that like I don't really have them touching, like they look quite separated. So you can move them so they kind of like overlap with each other a smidge if you want. And then I'll show you how to arrange these so that they look a little bit better. All right, so now that we have all the tabs, you can kind of see that they are running off the page. So we just need to resize them, and we can actually resize them as a group. So all you do is just select one and then just push and hold, and you can select all the tabs. So just make sure you don't select any other objects. Like here you can see I have these X's around the page, so it selected the page on me. So we're just gonna redo that again. Be careful to not select the page. There we go. And then see this bar that pops up. We're just going to click group, and now this becomes one thing. So we can now just shrink it up a little bit so that it all fits on one page. And then to ungroup it, we can just click on it again and click ungroup, and this will allow us to adjust the tabs. So now what we want to do is we want to adjust the layers, and to do this we just go to select, or we click this, and then we can arrange based on this because these are the layers. So because we want this top one to be, this first one to be on top, we can do that. And then we basically just go down the list to make it so that the tabs just fall one in line. So again, this top one, because I want it to be the front, it goes to the top, the front layer. The second one would go one line back, the third one would go one line back, and then you just repeat this process. And sorry, I lied, I actually want the paper on top. So I'm gonna click the paper, and I might not be, yeah, it's locked. So I'm just gonna unlock it. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move it to the front so that it's in front of all of these tabs. And then I'm going to basically re-lock it again, just so that I can't accidentally mess it up. Lock. And then one thing I'm not loving is how in these tabs are. So what we can do is just push and hold. Okay, I'll fix that top tab in a minute. Okay, so now we have just the tabs selected. So I'm gonna group these for a second, and then I just wanna move them out. So then we can just center them. I'm gonna put this here just because this top one's out of whack. I'll fix it in a minute. But then yeah, you can basically just move these out to wherever you want them. So I just want them to stick out a little bit so I can put text on them. And then we can click on this again to ungroup them. And then we can move this one back down again, like so. So then the next step is to add the text to these tabs. And again, super easy. We just go to the basics and then the first option, which is text. And then here we can start typing things in. So I just do the short form version style. We need to rotate it to the side. So again, that was under style, and then under arrange, there is a rotate option. And then now we can move it into place on its tab. And then what I will do just to make my life easier is I will just copy that and then paste it. And then just click, and now we'll do February. And what's nice about this is like you can make this custom. Like I'm turning these into months, but you could turn these into like, I could make one tab for each of my clients if I wanted. If you're using this for school, you could use this for subjects. Like you could, if you're a project manager, you can make a tab for each project. Like the possibilities are endless. And that's what's kind of nice about making your own, is then you can customize it to suit like whatever you need it to work for. So I'm just showing you like how to do the basics so that you can do it, but feel free to customize this and set it up like however you want. That's the beauty of doing it this way. Okay, so I'm really happy with how that looks. Oh, sorry, one other thing I'm just noticing, these coils should be on top of the page. So just before you finalize everything, make sure all the layers kind of make sense. So we're just gonna bring the coils to the front. There we go. So otherwise, yeah, everything looks good. Again, I'm keeping this notebook super basic just to kind of show you guys what I mean. But then the last thing I want to do is I want to add that monthly layout we made. So now we're just going to go to add, and then we can add a photo or video from our camera roll. So we'll just add this layout that we made, and then we just need to resize it down to the page. And I have it so it's centered, but the dots kind of rub right up on the coils, and then on this side there is a lot of white space. So you might not find centering it to be the best option just because of the way we've got this laid out on the page. So just kind of put it where it seems to make sense for you. And then, yeah, same thing. Just as long as you're happy with the spacing, then that's all that counts. All right, so now that the layout is done, we want to turn this into what's called a master slide. And the reason we want to do this, like we could copy and paste this onto 12 different presentation pages. The problem is then is everything's an active element, and it's just so easy to accidentally move things and change things, and we kind of just want to lock everything down. So now what we want to do is, yeah, turn this into a master slide. So what we want to do is just select anywhere outside of the page. So like if you click in here, well, you can actually, sorry, just click anywhere, and then you want to click select objects, and on my version you have to click the select all and then done, and then we want to copy. So then we can click on slide number 1, and we want to go to edit slide layout. So right now this page is based on this title page because remember we deleted everything, but we want to create our own. So we have this blank page here at the bottom. Now we don't want to change this one. It's always good to have a blank because then you can like use it and create more pages. So then what I like to do is just click on that and duplicate it, and you can rename it. So then I like to name this based on like whatever I'm using it for. So we'll just say monthly, and then just hold on the page and paste, and it's going to bring all your pages in, and then you can click out and boom, there you go. Now that's done. So now when you click done, this will save as a master slide. So now one thing you can see is the background didn't come in. That's because it wasn't an object or an element, it was just the background. So you can redo that here, but I actually kind of like how this looks on the white background, not having that background. So I'm actually just going to leave that. So now you can select done. And now when you click this add at the bottom, you have all these original presentation options, but if you scroll down, you now have your monthly option, and there's no editing it. It is a solid thing. So then we can add this 12 times. And then you want to delete your original one because you don't need it anymore. So we can delete that. Because if we do need to make changes, we make them in the master slide now. So now we'll just make 12 pages. So now we have all the months, but now we need to link the tabs to the months. So this is where hyperlinking comes in. And again, this is a very basic notebook. Sorry for all that jiggling, I hit the table. This is a very basic notebook where I'm just showing you how to do like the months. I will go into my SEO calendar one more time to show you guys kind of how I have more pages set up. But basically we want to link these tabs to each of these slides so that January goes to slide 1, February goes to slide 2, March goes to slide 3, and so on. So to do that, we just click on the slide and we can go edit slide layout, and it takes us to that monthly page. Now here is where we can make edits to all those individual elements that we added. So by deleting that slide on the first thing, like, you can do that. You don't need to worry. You'll still be able to make changes if you notice something is wrong. And anytime you make a change, it'll apply to every slide in your presentation. So let me just show you an example. Okay, so yeah, let's say I don't like this blue. So let's say I want to change it to purple. So I changed purple, done. And now you'll see on every single one of these slides, that tab has changed to purple because we've edited the master slide. So let's change that back to blue now. So now to do this, all you want to do is you want to hyperlink the text. So when you click on text, there is an option here, like you have got like all your copy, cut, whatever. You also have the option to link. And then we can link it to a specific slide. So January, we want set to link 1, or slide 1, that's correct, we leave it. Now we click on February, link. We want this to link to slide 2. So now you just go through and you link each of these months to whichever slide you want it to go to. Okay, so now I have all those links added. I'm gonna click done to save those changes. And now all of these things have the hyperlinks. So you can see them kind of like they're kind of a softer, like they're not super bright, they're kind of hidden, but they are there. You can't edit them from here. You'd have to go to the master slide to edit them, but they are there. So now when you export this, whenever you click on those links, they are going to be, it'll take you to those pages. So now if you do want to add a cover page to this, sorry, I totally missed this step. I mean, this is a weird workaround, but it works. So before you deleted the slide where we had set up all these original elements, you'd basically want to copy and paste that and then delete and make yourself a cover page. But another way you can do it is if we go to edit slide layout, we can duplicate our monthly, and then we can delete that because we don't need it. And then what we can do is just add, actually, let's take this blue because we'll just pretend copy, paste. We'll just put it kind of on top like so. So then you can kind of see the tabs like hinting through, but not fully. And then we can arrange this because we want the coils to be in front. And then you can even like add some text. So like we could say, like, you could put the name of your notebook or whatever you want. So we could do notebook name, and you could even do like, belongs to, like, whatever you want to put in here. You could even do like a design if you wanted to. So if you wanted to create a nicer cover in Procreate or something and then add it as an image, you can totally do that too. So yeah, here I just like adjusted the size and then I changed the name to cover page. So again, normally I wouldn't make this a master slide. I just missed a step, so my apologies, but this is a way you can do it if you want to make it a master slide. So then all we would do is we would just add our cover page and then we can delete that one. And then one thing you want to do is just, if you add pages, I just like to go back and check to make sure that my links are still good. So then we can just edit slide layout. And if we go to our monthly, we just want to make sure, yeah, so January is now linked to slide 2 instead of 1. February is now linked to 3, and it should, that is one nice thing about Keynote, is it like automatically adjusts. As I've been doing this like with my SEO notebook, I haven't noticed a single issue with that, so it's super nice. So then that's like the basics of our notebook, but like just to show you, it is pretty easy. It's time consuming to do, but it's super easy. And the nice thing is if this is something you're using like again and again, you set it up once, but then you have it and it's super nice. You could even set this up where it's like just tab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, like an old school subject notebook. And then each tab has pages behind it, just blank pages where you can write your notes like an old school notebook, but then you can still easily like jump ahead to at least that subject or that section. So doing this is super, like, there's so many options. The options are quite literally endless, which is so nice. Okay, so then once your notebook is done and you're ready to start using it, all you're going to do is click the 3 dots at the top. You're going to export. We're going to save it as a PDF, and then you're going to save it to your files. So we're going to click export, and then here you can share it directly into Goodnotes if you want, but I have accidentally, I find this doesn't work very well because if I have another notebook open, it exports into the middle of that notebook. So I just save it to my files, and I'll just save it onto my iPad. That's fine. Save. And then I will go into Goodnotes and I will import it directly. That's the way I personally prefer to do it. So we'll go to New, Import, and then I have it just on my iPad. So we'll go here, and then here it's my presentation 2 is what it's called. And then boom, now we have that. We can rename it if we want to. I would technically go in and like rename the file. I'm just showing you guys, but yeah, and yes, December somehow got onto the top layer. I would go and I would fix that before I export. But sometimes, yeah, when you export, you find little issues. You can go back and fix them and then re-export it and bring it back into Goodnotes after. So yeah, now if we go to this page though, if you click on, well, first we have to turn off the pen tool. So in Goodnotes, you have to click on this to stop writing, and then you can click on the links and it'll take you to the different pages. So it's really nice. And then we can even test this. So like, let's say, actually so let's go to January, turn this on. Oh, no. Take our pen and then just write January. Okay. And then let's go to June, turn on our pen tool, June. Okay, so now if we go back to January, there's our January, our February is nothing, March, April, May, June, and there's our June. So that's just like, again, to test to make sure everything is working. And then we can, of course, erase all that stuff without actually touching any of this because it's been imported as a PDF. So you can only like write and draw and annotate on top of it. So using the eraser tool won't affect anything on your layout once it's in Goodnotes because it's saved. It's a PDF, like an image, like you can't fix it. You'd have to go into Keynote to fix anything on this. So that is how you set up a digital notebook. So that is it for today's video. I hope you found this helpful. I'm sorry the video is super long, but it was a tutorial. I kind of figured it would be long, but I really wanted to show you guys basically how I'm creating custom notebooks so you can create them in your journal as well. Just a reminder, I'll have everything I used linked below. So that's includes the tools like Goodnotes and Procreate, as well as anything I've bought off Etsy. So those planner stamps that I was using to create my pages, the spiral rings, I'll have everything linked below so you guys can get started right away and start setting up your own custom personalized notebooks for whatever projects or needs you have. I hope that this was helpful. If you liked it, be sure to hit the like button below. And if you want to be notified anytime I upload a new video, you can also hit subscribe. It really helps support my channel. And I will catch you guys in tomorrow's Vlogmas video. Bye for now.